Welcome back to V-Rule. Here we have our Fight for First Fridays, where we look at sets going from old to new, and the top 10 best performing, as far as sales go, cards. Does that make sense? Let's get something that's a little easier to understand here. Clear an Articuno tin, going out to one lucky winner. 2 3-pack blisters of Stellar Crown, especially today on the release day of Stellar Crown. Yeah! Finally got there, and I'm looking at the old stuff rather than opening the new stuff. Maybe I'm weird, maybe I'm against the grain, maybe I'm just losing my mind. Could be anything, but I do know one more thing. A mystery prize, a Pokemon mystery prize going out to a 4th winner overall. All we got to do is reach that 2,500 subscriber mark. We are so close. I can't believe how fast this is going. It's awesome. You got to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. You know all the stuff, the regular stuff you do. You do this every time. And specifically, I need you to do me a big favor and go over to this video here. That's the one you're going to leave an additional comment, so you are surely entered to win into our giveaway coming up. Let's get to our Fight for First Friday. Over here on Pokelector, we have all the different sets, all of them. Stellar Crown, I'm ready. I'm so ready to get into that. However, not today. All right, we got a lot of other things to do. We're going to scroll it all the way back, way downtown. Oh my goodness, this just goes on and on and on. There's a lot of sets. We've covered base set. We got through Gym Heroes. We did the tops. Well, we glimpsed. But we're on to the Neo series here. We did Neo Genesis, and now it's time for Neo Discovery. 75 cards. Not a huge set. Back then, in 2001, it did feel like a big set. Definitely hard to get through if you were collecting. I don't have many of these because I had fallen off in that early Neo set release time frame. That's where I fell off in the Pokemon TCG. I just outgrew it at the point in my life, and now I'm back to it now that I'm a big kid. That's cool. We have here on TCG Player different cards, different stuff. Let's look at our top 10 best performing according to TCG Player. Coming in number 10 is Politoed. Here we go with that Holo Rare. You have to make sure you understand there's a difference between first edition and the Unlimited. The Unlimited meant no first edition stamp. Now that we've established that, let's move on. Politoed, I'm looking at these in Near Mint Unlimited Holo Foil or Near Mint Unlimited condition, so we can get a better read on it. And 3 months is not enough on a set this old because the sales are not that frequent. I mean, even back here, like, it looks like a huge crazy bar. There were four sold at that time. Okay, so it's not a crazy mover, this set, or even sets of this age. But right now we're sitting at about $30 for this one for a holo, and about a year ago 35. So not a huge decrease. And another reminder that vintage does not always equal value. You have to understand that these modern cards coming out are just crazy through the roof, some of them, and they're outweighing this. And we have now a 23-year difference between this set and something like Stellar Crown, all right? And that those chase cards, I mean, yeah, I think the Squirtle and Bulbasaur are already in the $40 range. I think that's beating several of these here. Dunsparce, simple, interesting to see this one coming up as a top 10, coming in at number 9 for being a common card. And oh, it's really shot up from like nothing to almost nothing in price. But the reality is common cards just don't hold a lot of value, even ones that are this old. And although it looks like it's gone crazy high, a 25% increase, we're only at 40 cents. So don't get too excited or crazy on this, but if you're looking to pick up some old cards, go for the bulk. It's kind of nice to have. It's fun to add to it. Kabutops here, getting to another holo foil. We're at $34. I don't know if we need to jump into the graph every time and just see where this has been for the past year. That's not really the most important part. The thing I like to do is just kind of honor the artwork, give it a little bit of a highlight, some time to look at it. Look at that Kabutops just charging at us, the big slashing, you know, it's like a sickle, I guess. I don't know what he's got going on growing out of there. So dude's got problems. Espeon, I believe this is the first time in the TCG we saw Espeon introduced to the trading card game. So Pokemon brought out Espeon. There's actually 2 artworks in this set, one of them being a holo rare. And this one in particular is card number 1 to kick off the whole set, $140. Now you get into the little bit more realistic pricing for not just the age, but the reality of how much weight a Pokemon can carry. All right, you end up looking at things like this next one. Not 20 cents. The shipping is insanely higher, 5-6 times higher. My goodness, it's insanely higher over the price of the card. So if you're just looking to pick up some old commons and uncommons of these older sets, they should be easy pickups, even in near mint state and throw them into your order when you're getting those few that you're really wanting, just for the nostalgia, I guess. I don't know if you want it or not, but that's the way to do it. If I was going through it, I kind of could see a draw to just getting the common and uncommon sets of these old sets. I'm not going to get all the pulls. I'm not going to do all that, but in an inexpensive way, have a little taste along the way of a lot of these different sets. That might be a fun way to kind of build a small collection on the cheap. All right, Boba Fett. I don't know if this one was super popular at the time. I'm surprised it's even holding up this kind of price, but it is a holo, and at near mint at $15, well, $5 shipping, $20. Okay, fine, not too bad for a holo. You have to understand that this was it. This was the top tier. You had a holo rare. That was your top tier card. You couldn't go beyond that. There was no illustration rare. There was no special illustration rare. This was a different time, folks. We had phones on cords. It was just different. So the fact that you got to kind of put yourself back in that mindset, the excitement it was. When you pull a chase card now, not even the top chase card, because that's always mind-blowing, but when you pull one of the chase cards, like say Stellar Crown, you pull a Squirtle, you pull a Bulbasaur, Twilight Masquerade, you hit that Eevee, that is like exciting beyond belief, right? That's what it was like to pull a holo. It really was. It was amazing. You got it. Your friends blew up. They went crazy. Yeah, everybody's cheering for you, even though they were just jealous, because I was one of the jealous friends, I'm sure. I don't recall specifically, but I'm sure I was, just because that's the way it is, Houndoom. I think Houndoom was interesting. The fact that the price is not that high for the popularity of this Pokemon, even today, and especially when you compare it to our next card here. We're at $34-ish, a little shipping on there, $35.50 actually. That's where we're about on that unlimited. And then you have the Houndour, the earlier stage, right? So this would evolve into Houndoom. Interesting that this was a holo rare. So interesting choice that you had the evolution as both holo rares in the set. So I thought that was actually interesting setup there. I kind of had to do a double take because I'm not familiar with this set. So I was like, are they both Neo Discovery? Does this make sense? How is this? So that was an interesting choice on Pokemon's side there. And here we are at $43. So we're beating it almost by what? Almost $10, not quite. So interesting that the earlier evolution is beating the later level evolution on that for the double holos on that one. Fortress coming in our number 2 spot. I don't know the reasoning behind it other than that's what it says for TCG Player. Fortress coming in at number 2. Looks like it would have been an interesting holo pattern. Maybe there's a green tint to it. I don't know for sure. Sometimes the older cards don't show that well on TCG Player, but it did look like it had some sort of green play in there. And then you had this little bit weird scratchy design on this one coming in at $16, I guess, when we're being a little more realistic about it here, just out of curiosity where that's going. A little up and a lot of down, but really, not a lot of sales. And even on the ups, it didn't even hit 20. So not too far off from its top in the last year. That's all it is. And this list can change. It can just shift around. I mean, sales can adjust in the next month, and this could be a completely different set of 10, especially a different order. And number 1 spot showing us is Scizor here. Are you surprised? Cool Pokemon flying at you, freaking you out, slashing there at the viewer. And here we have that same kind of scratchy pattern going on, and of course the unlimited holo rare, not too bad, coming in at 31.25 on that. Evolution of Scyther, very popular Pokemon from the Jungle series, so no reason this shouldn't have been doing well, but interesting to see that it is the top seller, and it's just recent. I mean, really recent. Look at that. It's had 2 items sold, and that's what's really probably bumping it up. So this thing could turn on a dime of where we're at. Top price here in the past year, $37, down to $31.25. So pretty steep decline across the board here. There's a lot more people turning into modern rather than looking back to vintage. I wanted to pull up two more here that I think are worth noting because it was the introduction. We have the Unknown Pokemon. Unknown A specifically came in here, and they spelled it out for you and told you in case you had trouble reading what it is, anger, but it's pretty obvious. Unknown was first introduced in the Neo Discovery set, so that's where we have that intro. I think this was sitting in at the 11th spot or something like that, so it was squeaking right in there. I thought it was worth a mention just because it was so new to us, seeing this and trying to collect the different letters and that. So at a holo rare there, coming in at $9, and actually it looks like it's gone a little up here lately. The low was $8, and now we're at $9.25. On the high was $10.25-ish, and that's the last year. So these just don't mean much. It's really, what are you willing to pay? What kind of condition do you have? And what makes sense? What's reasonable? It's really hard to bracket this price based on, right now or even recently, because you could find it near mint for $10 and it's probably a decent deal, and you could find it near mint for $8 and it's pretty much a good deal, or you find it pretty much where the market is saying based on this, it's a good deal. The good deal factor has a much wider range on cards of this age because there's more play in who's holding it, who you're getting it from, how excited are you to add it or not. Are you completing a set with the last few of them, or are you just starting a set? So interesting conversation, interesting topic. And that's what I like about the Fight for First Friday. In fact, the fact that we had Umbreon first introduced, and not only first introduced, but it was a Moonbreon then. Nobody called it that. Nobody thought of it as that, but it was a Moonbreon. And this iconic dichotomy between the Moon and Umbreon, this night Pokemon, has carried on through the years. We learned with Pokemon Go, you could only evolve Eevee at night to get your Umbreon, that kind of stuff. They've really played into that. And it's been helpful just to kind of have that streamline all through the entire franchise, which is pretty cool. Really sinister looking evolution here. Silhouetted, dark, the red eyes, the glowing gold here. So compare this to some of the Umbreons of today's more modern cards. Wildly different looking Pokemon. They almost look like different Pokemon. It's pretty crazy. So I understand a variation in the artwork, but Umbreon almost turned in completely different Pokemon. I feel like the ears are much longer here. The tail isn't as full looking or something. Really, really muscular kind of body showing. So interesting here. And of course, this is definitely one of the highest priced cards of the set, in keeping with fashion of this Pokemon's popularity over the long haul. This is one of the few that's climbed. Interesting here. 190 on the first part of that 1 year turnaround, and we're at 241.5 right now. But near mint hollow foil at a 210 range for you. If you wanted to go and swing that kind of price out there for something like this, I wouldn't do it in this particular setting. I'd rather do it in person where you can hold it and see it. When you get that price bracket, you got to be able to verify before you pull the trigger. Just trusting somebody else's understanding of near mint versus your own eyes. I think you got to be careful. And you know what? I can get you some near mint cards. We can at least trust that because they're sealed pack ready. Quality control is not up to me, and you can bet that that's not great. But you can get that Galarian Articuno tin from Crown Zenith, the 2-3 pack boosters from Stellar Crown on release day. Not that they're being given away today, but just a mention of it. It's today. It's happening. It's real. And one Pokemon mystery prize going out to 4 lucky winners. All you got to do is like, comment, subscribe. Follow the stuff I said earlier. If you're not too sure, look in the description below. I make it as easy as possible. I want to make sure you have the opportunity to win. I've been announcing it, all these videos, until we reach that threshold. 2,500 subscribers, I will ship anywhere in the world. And I post 7 days a week. So all you got to do is like, leave that comment, subscribe, hit the bell for that 7-day-a-week notification. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.